Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries, Book 4, A Deep and Creeping Darkness. This is Chapter 45, Far Over Mountains Cold. And in addition to that, it is Session 45, but we also did 5 one-on-one interludes last December, which means this is our 50th episode.
Woo!
And it is almost exactly, and I say almost because tomorrow is the true date, but it is our 1 year anniversary of this game.
Woohoo!
Which means
Congrats,
we
guys.
have been playing Scribes and Scrolls together for 1 year.
Wow.
And we have 50 sessions, which means we've only missed 2 sessions all year. And by we, I mean me and Gary have only missed, well, technically a couple of you. Oh my gosh. And to celebrate 1 year, Tildeloo coming in with the sub and the 5 gift subs. Thank you so much, Tildeloo. That is going to hook up some people with subs, of course. But also, I'm going to give you a domain tome up there. And then I'm going to go here and bump this up. That puts you up to 20 domain tomes. Some of you may have noticed in the pre-stream that, thank you, Hawkmere, for another 5 subs celebrating 1 year in style. Also, I just realized this is 115
Wow.
and none of you said anything. You cheeky.
Why would I say something?
Somebody in chat would have said something. So now you have 25 domain tomes.
Oh.
I forget what I was going to say. Oh yeah, you may have noticed in our pre-stream, and you'll notice at break, we have some new character placards, and we have some new information cards. So ostensibly, the pre-game announcements will get a little bit shorter. Yeah, we somebody's trying to steal one of my domain tomes.
Oh.
I have 5. I have not used any yet. My limited edition domain tomes. So you can type !domain dice in the chat to find out how those work. But as you can tell, subs, tipping $5, cheering 500 bits, all that stuff will work to get those tomes for the players. And I'm going to start using my limited edition tomes a little more frequently so that you all can donate for those as well, to keep me supplied in limited edition books, so that I always have a counterspell at the ready if I need it. Unfortunately, Dwight is not.
What just happened?
Did somebody come in?
No?
No?
But the camera's just all shuffled.
I farted. My internet farted. I apologize.
Gary.
I didn't
That's
do it
fine,
on
that's fine.
purpose. I clicked the fetching bits button to sort of donate to the cause and celebration, and it screwed up my internet. So
Sure.
now everybody's giving.
How
me
dare
shit.
you try to help
Sure.
stuff?
So, anyway, Dwight is unable to join us tonight because his internet is completely borked right now. So he, I believe, is going to be lurking in the chat. And Carrie is going to try to join us at some point tonight if she can make it. Believe me, she is absolutely gutted that she can't be here. And the now reigning champion for all 45 sessions, plus 1 because of your one-on-one, for perfect attendance, is Gary.
Woo!
Gary just cheered 1,000 bits for himself. wait, is that
over
1,500 bits?
Yeah,
The timing. The timing.
Yeah, the timing of that. Did you plan that out? I think you did. Hey, that's fine. We celebrate ourselves here. It's worth it. So that's 3 more. So, whoops, I'm turning my own tomes off.
Just
There we
realized
go.
I forgot
I'm going
have
to take
extra
away these
spell
two,
slots.
but I'm going to give you some more here. There we go. All right. One announcement that I will make. We will always take the time to make this announcement before every game that we play. You matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether or not you believe that. It's true. We have long tried to make it a part of our mission here at MTD to talk openly about mental health, to help destigmatize conversations around mental health, and just be open and honest. And we want you to know, first and foremost, if you're not okay, it's fine. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel your feelings. But we do not want you to struggle alone. You don't need to do it. There are so many resources that are available, and if you crave anonymity or you don't want to interact directly with somebody on a phone call, there are web services, there are texting services. We try to make it a little easy here that all you have to do is type !help in the chat, and a URL will show up for findahelpline.com. It's a free web service, super easy to use. Go there now, bookmark it, save it for yourself, save it for a friend. All you got to do is put your location, where you are located in the world, in that bar, hit enter, and tons of health services and helping services will appear. They've got phone numbers, they've got text numbers, they've got websites. So there you go. We want you just to be aware of that. And we're paying particular attention. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, though we believe we should be aware of mental health needs all year round. Also, on that note, one other announcement there's no placard for. I will be over on, you're going to have to check my Twitter to find out for sure where, because I can't remember now the actual channel. I think it's Ardent Roleplay, but I'm not positive on that. I am going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night playing with our Australian friends who are running their Australian Jasper's Game Week. And I will be playing with Sean Sunday, our DM, Dead Aussie Gamer, and a few others, and some seat auction winners. And of particular note to this group, I am playing as McGrunden, the Dragonborn cook / cleric of the Sinful Dragon, Captain Dervis's crew member. Where in the timeline, we're not entirely sure, but whatever happens to him is canon. Up to and including his death. So we'll see what happens with that. I think I'm going to start playing the crew of the Sinful Dragon in one-shots here and there to flesh out their backstories. But with that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. All right. So hopefully you've all done it already. You are all level 6 now. Including Assyria, who slept through those last little bit.
She worked hard for it.
I did.
Yep. So you have been on the last leg of your journey, escorting the survey crew oversea, up the river, and you just have a little bit more of travel to go in this final day. Before you reach the town of Mirene, the last bastion of civilization before the mountain destination of Vermeulen. It has not been an easy journey. It has been fraught with all kinds of danger and peril, not least of which was our own Assyria transforming into a werewolf, the second phase of her unique transformation, while locked in the brig of the Sinful Dragon. And the others dealing with a threat above deck. Following that, Assyria has spent the last 3 days unconscious in a fever dream, with various members of the party, making sure that she's okay and transporting her safely via litter, and keeping her well. The rest of you have intermittently dealt with other issues or situations that have come up. Most recently, Vorn and Tira sharing a moment together before, during, and after a particularly vicious encounter with phase spiders.
Can you feel the love tonight?
There were professions of love, followed by a little bit of stargazing, and Vorn saw an image of his long-lost love, Surla, who told him that it was okay to let her go, and then she disappeared. It is...
I let her go. He meant Tira. She meant Tira.
What?
Nothing. Never mind. Carry on.
You're a mess.
So, it is a new day. And the very first thing that happens in the early morning of this day, Assyria,
Yes.
you have spent, for you, an unknown amount of time stuck in a changing landscape of dreams, some of which are little more than collections of images strung together, memories, fragments of memories. Is there anything in particular that stands out from that period? Who would you have thought of, or what would you have thought of during this time?
I think she would have been bouncing between her mother and her father quite a bit. Like flashes of memory before the marking happened with Assyria and her mother. And then all of a sudden it flashing to the vision when she was giving into her more animalistic nature. And then a flash of her father, perhaps showing her how to tie a snare. And let me reframe it. Assyria is standing in the middle of the meadow, the glade that she was in before. And to the right, there is a tree that has on the trunk of it carvings. You see a sword, a book carved into it, Venora, along with an elvish kind of visage of her mother in very elegant dress, their home, along with the symbol of the moon. You also see on like a random branch, Thadrid, the name, carved into it. To the left, a tree that is dry. It's not flourishing like the other one is. It's got almost looks like an impact of a lightning bolt came through it. It's broken down the middle. Its ends are fried and blackened and charred. And through that, you see the name Malchior carved into the stump of the tree itself. And you see just a silhouetted figure of a human man, but there's no discernible features. And there's tons of, for both trees, There's tons of an elvish, the like word for why. What is this? The trees stand on either end and Asaria in the middle, and there are these golden threads that are kind of pulling her from one tree to the next as a full moon is rising up behind her.
Syria, you find that these golden threads begin to pull upwards, and you find your arms and your head and your legs sort of pulled, and against your will, as somebody is moving you, you seem to be moving through a series of scenes as these trees sort of moved towards you, and then they collapse, and you realize they're cardboard or not cardboard, thin wood that has been painted to look like a set piece on a stage. And you see in the background this constant image of the house in flames with the silhouette of the man taking up this big background, but it's not as big as it looks. It's this stage that you're on seems to draw the eye in, and you see that the flames are actually yellow and orange and red colored pieces of wood that somebody is moving back and forth like this, and the silhouette is on a stick that is just being moved back and forth. And you continue to be marionetted, like you're running through this forest trying to get to this as these trees continue to run past. You see suddenly lighting up off in the side in the trees, you see lights begin to blink on as you see the yellow eyes of wolves in the wood line, and then you see the head of a silver wolf sort of move forward, and then it gets pulled back, and then it moves forward as part of this evolving set piece. And then suddenly the trees stop flowing forward, and the flames recede, and the silhouette of the figure drops down, and the lighting changes, and we see the house full. The trees slide to the side, and you are puppeted to sit on a log outside of the front of your home, and you watch as on another stick held aloft a figure of your father Melchior appears. And this little image of your house, you see the door sort of open, your father appears, and then the door slams shut, and he just sort of moves back and forth. I swear, I don't understand. Why must I be forced to endure these things? Why is it my lot in life to be challenged with such choices? And then from around the side of the house comes the figure of your mother, Venora. Her stick figure is turned so that her back is to Melchior. And almost like a simplified puppet, one of her hands goes up. Why must I be forced to endure such difficult children? I was promised a future, and this future seems to be taken from me, and now my husband challenges my very existence. I cannot continue to live this lie, says Melchior. I cannot continue to live this lie, says Venora. And then both stick figures turn and look at you where you are puppeted. And they both say, "Whatever are we to do with you?" And you feel the lines pull taut, and you are pulled back to standing. And you see the figures of your parents move to the side, and then you see flames leap up, except this time it's real flames. This miniature set piece has been set alight. And from above you, you hear, "That's right. Continue thinking that the path you're taking is one of your own choosing. Look, I'll even set you free." The voice wavers in and out. You're not sure if it's masculine, if it's feminine. At times it sounds almost familiar, and then it fades into something unrecognizable. But one thing you do know is that it's speaking to you in Elven. And at the words, "I will set you free," king, 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 all these threads, these strings that were holding you up, snap loose. And you are released from these strings. And you feel yourself falling as the last string is cut. You feel yourself falling, and you watch as the house burning recedes into the distance, and you see the eyes of the wolves lighting up in the darkness. And you fall, and suddenly you feel this boom as you pull taut, and you see one single thread still connected to you. And it's in that moment, as that thread jerks tight, your eyes open. Doc, you hear a gasp from Assyria, the first real sign of anything other than sleep that you've heard from Assyria.
Doc will walk over to Assyria, and he will sort of lean over her, and he's going to say, "Oh, hello."
And Assyria probably like bolted upright when that string, when you have that dream of you're falling and you jolt awake. So she would have probably immediately sat up and then put her head in her hands. And Doc, you would see her. She hasn't done this, to my knowledge, at least in front of anybody, but she's shaking slightly.
Doc is going to put his hand on her shoulder, and he's going to say, "It's okay."
It's good to hear you, Doc.
Do you feel better?
Woozy. And she'll kind of take her head out of her hands and kind of look around for a moment before finally looking at Doc. I'm guessing we're off the boat.
Yes, we're off the boat. We're on our way to Marine. You missed quite a lot, actually. It was all been very interesting.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Do you want to fill me in on what I've missed?
Oh, yes, for sure. Well, you turned into a werewolf, and we locked you in the brig, and that was all very exciting. Everybody else was worried, but I wasn't worried. The manacles broke that I made you, but I'll strengthen them next time and they'll be better. And they should be able to hold you if you need them. And then after that, it turned out the captain was very cross with us because we didn't tell him until the very last minute that you were going to turn into a werewolf. We told him that everything was going to be okay, and we were right. And as you know, that usually happens when I have something to say. And then we came upon this smaller boat that opened up from a small box, and we were riding along a small tributary of the river or bay that we've been traveling on previously. It's been very interesting. We've been a small crew of fishermen, but they didn't have any fish, which really distressed Tira because she really wanted some meat. So her and Vorn went into the forest to hunt meat, and they came and they were blundering back because they were being chased by spiders of some kind. I tried to rescue the spider's poison gland, but it didn't really work at all. Also, it's very possible that Vorn and Tira finally had relations, but I'm not sure because I haven't asked yet. But it's good because I did a drawing of where everything's supposed to go for Vorn, and so I think he's going to know where everything goes now because I'm a helper.
You are very much a helper. You see Asera is just like slowly processing everything that was just told to her. Wow, that certainly is a lot.
And then Mizzy and I are here. Kahlo's still a Tortle.
Vorn, I imagine you probably, because you took the first shift, I imagine you wake up to the sounds of Doc talking to Assyria. Who, by the way, Assyria, one, mechanically, all of your exhaustion is gone.
Okay.
And you actually do feel very well rested, if a bit, sore from not moving for 3 days of your own accord. And Soren is immediately at your side, head in your lap. But Vorn, you do, and Kahlo, you awaken to the sounds, as well as the rest of the mining party. Everybody starts waking up to the sounds of Doc loudly explaining to Assyria what she's missed for the last few days.
Oh, and also, I almost forgot, which might be relevant to you, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't pretend to know what's going on in your head, because only you know what's going on in your head. I'm not a psychic of any kind, and I don't have any telepathy magic. There was a werewolf that chased us and helped us with the phase spiders. I wonder maybe if you knew him. Do all of you talk?
And she looks down at Soren for a hot moment.
Soren does that thing that canines do, where he's got his head on your lap, but he just looks kind of up with both eyes, like, "What? Are you talking to me?"
Yeah. Not sure about that. I don't think I talked when I was in my form, so...
Your form?
Well, when I was a wolf, so...
Oh, yes.
So I'm not sure. I don't really know anything about it. I probably know about as much as you do about it.
Oh.
Did
I what?
Did you see where they went? Did they turn back into whatever their true form is? Or...
I think they were a human, but I didn't really get a very good look at them. It was dark. They seemed like they wanted to talk to us, but at the same time didn't. They helped us with the phase spiders, and they really saved Tira and Vorn. I was generally fine, as I usually am, but they were in a very, very poor state of affairs.
Right. Got it. Really wish Tira was here as well.
Tira, I think that Tira, when you all wake up, is gone. Her stuff is still there.
Sure.
But she would have her greatsword with her, and you might notice that a couple of the fishing rods are gone.
Probably fishing. Good. Sorry, I didn't mean to. And at this point, is serious with her passive is starting to pick up that everybody's awake right now. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to wake up everybody.
Vorn goes over to Tira and has a little pouch of water. What do you call it? A canteen of water. Thank you.
To Assyria.
And to Assyria. And so you're probably thirsty. Hands her the canteen of water.
Thank you. And she'll drink.
And then jokingly, I'm going to walk over to Doc and is Doc standing or sitting?
Doc would be standing.
Okay. He's going to kind of because Doc towers over Vorn by at least a foot. He kind of pats him on the shoulder up high and says, "Thanks for the pictures. and kind of just laughs.
Oh,
You're welcome, Vorn. I hope they were helpful. And then Doc is going to glance over to Assyria. Assyria was curious if you were able to put them to use.
no,
Did you and Tira have
no, I
relations?
never once. No.
You'll
I
have
would
to
like to
ask
go
Tira
back to
about
sleep
that.
now. No.
Yeah, you'll have to ask Tira about that as I chuckle and walk into back to general camp area.
And then as Vorn walks away, Doc is going to lean into Assyria and he's going to say, "Really? You're not even curious a little bit?"
No. I've with everything going on, I think I have enough to be curious about. Because now you've left me with the question of, do werewolves speak when they're in their other form? So I'm now very curious about that.
Doc is going to pause and he's going to look down for a very long time.
What are you thinking of? You're thinking of something.
No? Should I be?
Insight check.
Go for it.
Ooh, okay. That is going to be a 22.
Doc does not appear to be lying.
Damn, really? Damn. Interesting. Okay.
As he walks as he looks at Tira or Assyria, he's going to say, "Well, I'm glad you're better. You're not fixed, but you're better."
I think it's largely in part to you and all of you. So,
Well, he can have some credit too, but it was mostly me.
thank you, Doc.
And he's going to awkwardly pat his giant hand on her shoulder. And he's going to say, "You're welcome, Assyria. You know that I'm here for you, whatever you need." Well, not whatever you need, because that's a lot of possible things. And that's really a promise that I can't make. What if there's something you need that I can't possibly even fathom at this time? It
Doc,
wouldn't be
you
fair to say that I
immediately
was-
feel a hand on your arm that just sort of gently pats you and says, yes, doctor. I will see to some of Assyria's other needs. And you see Mizia is there with a mess kit and has some of the fish from the night before, and has brought some over to you, Assyria. I'm sure you are quite hungry.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I don't think Mizia would acknowledge you saying that.
Literally,
And would just,
Assyria would burst into laughter, honestly. That it's very on brand for her. Just thinking it's funny.
and Mizia hands you the mess tray with a fair amount of probably cold but cooked, partially smoked, grilled fish that they caught the day before. Because Mizia, in the last one of the previous sessions, caught like 8 pounds of fish or something like that on the river. Mizia learned the fish.
Amazing. Assyria will kind of quietly eat. Again, looking very apologetically towards everyone that she woke up by waking up. And just kind of taking stock of herself as well.
And at this point, you would see, in addition to your party, you see Kahlo and Manistrad Copperlocks, and you see the Rack and Crack sisters, and yep, I know their names. You see Rose Apple Blossom,
Rose and Raywin.
and Raywin, the doc and the archaeologist. As everybody's sort of gathering things up, Kahlo, Manistrad would approach you sort of while the book club are having their conversations. Manistrad would offer you some fish as well. And I imagine they've probably got a pot of coffee going over the fire. And
Oh yeah, totally. So she'll happily be eating away, and then once in a while, like slowly double checking some of the things from her pack that she was worried might have gotten ruined or wet, like in this time, and she's just obsessively double checking over those things, like torches and dynamite sticks.
and Manistrad just says, well, by my reckoning, we've got maybe a half a day at most up the river, and we'll be to this Murine. Reports are that it's at least a couple days up into the mountains from there. Hopefully, the locals can give us a bit of information about what to expect as far as going up into the mountains, and if we're going to need any kind of supplies or anything. I know mountains. I don't know these mountains, but I know mountains. And it's probably going to be colder in the mountains than it is down here. And we don't quite know what dangers we could face before we even get to the town. So make sure you and the others have all the supplies that you're going to need. Keep an eye out in town, and don't let them rip you off.
I'm sure it's nothing that we can't handle. This has been a real nice boat ride. Aside from the werewolf and the Sahagwin and the giant dragon thing that attacked when we were down below, and well, you know, but it was still a good time.
Well, trust me when I tell you that as far as dragon turtle attacks go, it could have been much worse. Suffice it to say, you haven't lived until you've seen a giant metal ship piloted by automatons, strapped with thick chains to the back of a dragon turtle, attack a seaside town. But that's a story for another another time. That would be Dawnbringer Season 3, The Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Yeah.
So, anything that anybody else wants to do before you all get ready to head up the river and
Are you coming up on deck at all, Assyria?
Well, you all are still at the camp right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, at the camp.
Right.
So you're coming like conscious though, and out where we can all see you.
Does the skimmer? I'm sorry, I missed it. Does the skimmer have two decks? I thought we were like in a big pontoon type of a boat.
The boat is kind of like what you would see in the Jungle Cruise. It's a single deck boat. Gotcha. It's about 24 feet long, 8 feet wide. It does have a small cabin. We also established that the cabin is being used to hold your horses, because you did bring your horses and your cart with you.
Yep.
And so it's a little cramped on there, but yeah, that's the size. Right now, the boat's completely folded up because it's a magical boat that
we're at camp. Quick question, Jake. When Sarah comes into, like, after that conversation with Doc and Vision, all that, and looking over at Kahlo's group, is anyone looking at Assyria perhaps differently, slightly scared, mad?
That's you know what? That's a good question.
When you look over, Kahlo actually just like smiles with a beak full of fish.
I love that so much.
And then gives you a little wave.
She'll wave back.
Vorn will, if you look at Vorn and you make eye contact, Vorn will give you a nod, like, it's all right.
Yeah, she's a bit more concerned with the group we're escorting since they were in the dark about all of it.
I think as far as the rest of the mining crew, Manistrad, occasionally you might see her looking at you. with a little bit of a furrowed brow, maybe like biting the inside of her cheek, and then after a moment she just kind of shrugs and goes about talking to her people. If you're actively looking around, for the most part nobody's acting any different except for the doc, Raywind Silverthread. Seems to, anytime you look in their direction, they quickly look away. They keep their distance from you. Yeah, that's what you would notice. Assyria.
Yes.
As you are kind of getting your belongings together, and I would say for the most part, the doc probably mostly instructed others on how to make sure your armor was loose fitting. So probably some of your armor had been removed, and just your like tunic and stuff was on, and you had been kept comfortable with your bedroll and all that kind of stuff. So as you're kind of, resituating everything, Soren, for one, Soren was laying across your sword belt, just basically sort of like protecting it, and your sword belt with the sword.
Yes.
He's sort of knowingly been protecting that. But as you're sort of, fastening up your leathers and cloak and everything, and making sure you've got everything ready to go, you notice in one of your pockets there's a little crinkle of parchment. You kind of reach down, and there's a piece of parchment in your pocket.
And she will try to uncrinkle it.
Whoops.
I came prepared. Gary, you're the inspiration for that.
As you look at it, I was going to try to paste it in, but it won't let me copy. You see a little bit of handwriting on it, and what it says is coming to you
I'm looking at all the screens.
in a Zoom private message.
Got it. Interesting. Okay. Got it.
But otherwise, yeah, you all are able to get packed up, and Manistrad does her usual thing of hold on, I just realized I didn't award. I'm trying to multitask, and I went to the screen but didn't award the domain tome you were just given by Smokebeards. So thank you. There we go. Manistrad does her usual thing of opening up the boat magically, and creating this boat. You get the horses and the cart and all your supplies loaded in, and you begin traveling up the river. I need 3 people to roll d20s. We determine today's weather.
4.
11.
One
It's
more?
11.
You got an 11?
Mm-hmm.
You all are lucky that this is a very seasonable late spring, just hinting at summer day. Normal temperatures, it's probably, I would imagine, this morning, maybe in the low 60s. And the sky's looking relatively cloud-free, no wind, and no sign of rain. It looks to be a nice, comfortable day of travel. You you all get onto the boat and begin, or rather continue your traveling up the river. Everybody make me perception rolls as you do so.
18.
13.
Natural 20 with a 4, so 24.
Doc?
Sorry, what are we rolling?
Perception.
17.
Wow, everybody's rolling decent on their perception, except Mizya. You all notice that as you are progressing along, you have caught glimpses to the north of mountains in the distance, but you notice on this leg of the journey that the mountains are, or rather the river seems to be growing closer to the mountains as you move into the foothills proper. And you all notice that just a little ways beyond the brush, the trees and stuff that's at the northern bank of the river, which is, the river is probably at this point about 50 feet wide. So the bank is a good 25 feet away from you, and then another probably 25, 30 feet away, you all see movement. And you see a couple of trees start swaying a little bit. And then you see that one of the trees suddenly pushes to the side, and there's a burst of birds that come flying forward. And you see this creature with powerful legs, front and back legs, come charging out of the wood line with two more right behind it.
Uh-oh.
And suddenly you watch as they leap into the air, seeming like they're leaping towards your boat. And then you watch as massive wings unfurl behind them, and 3 hippogriffs take to the air and fly up away, chasing at some of the birds, a couple of them snapping and grabbing a couple of these birds out of the air as they cry out and circle and move toward the mountains. They are not bothering you, but it's clear that there are some interesting creatures in these mountains. Somebody roll me a d4.
3.
It takes another 3 hours of travel up the river before you notice that the river itself has steadily grown wider and calmer, and you come around a bend and you can see docks jutting out into the water, a few fishing boats and smaller boats, rowboats, tied up to the docks. There's a small section of beach where there's several smaller boats that are pulled up onto the shore. A couple of boats even that are out in the water. You see that there is a flurry of activity as people are along the shore are mending nets or pulling nets apart, pulling fish in out of boats, or loading some supplies into boats. And as you continue around the bend, you see that there's a proper town that these docks are at the end of. You begin to see wooden and some even stone structures that are making up this small but busy town at the foothills. You have arrived at Murine. It takes another probably 20 or 30 minutes to get the boat situated to one of the docks to where you can offload all of your supplies, and not without a bit of commotion, Manistrad pulls on the boat once everybody is off of it, kind of grabs a hold of a part of it, and as she does so, the boat just begins to and folds down into this little form that she then puts into this little box. The dockmaster is approaching with a book open, saying, yes, it's if you are going to tether your boat here for more than a few hours, that's going to be a... Where did your boat go?
What boat?
Did you... Tolliver! You and he immediately begins tracking somebody down, and he's a little bit older, human man, and he walks in short strides, so he just begins chasing after somebody named Tolliver. Very confused at this, as you've all offloaded, and what would you like to do? Where would you like to go in Murine?
I did message you, Jake, but Asaria would actually take a moment to cast Pass Without a Trace. Right now, she's still processing a lot, but she's a little on edge right now.
Explain to me how you expect Pass Without a Trace to work.
Just, it's
I'm
more
not,
so like...
Sorry, that sounded very aggressive. That's not what I meant.
I was like, oh, shit.
I heard what I said, and it sounded kind of dickish.
I'm bored.
Explain to me how that's going to work. No, how do you see in a bustling river town?
It's more so like... Because this area is very on edge right now, and I'm happy to kind of tell you her thinking a little behind it before, but she's aware that in her vision she told her mother, even though she's not sure if that was her mother or not, that they were heading to Marine. So she doesn't have a protection amulet or something to hide her, so she's just looking for something that will maybe obscure her presence a little bit more, not hide it completely, but just kind of help a little bit. Okay,
and that works on everybody within what range of you?
Is 30 feet of me.
Okay. I will say...
It's just a security thing that she's doing.
Do you tell the others that you're casting this?
Mm-mm. She would do it very subtly as well.
Okay, well that'll still give a +10 to passive stealth. Mm-hmm. I want you to make me a stealth roll.
Sure.
And this is less of a sneaking about and more of a please don't perceive me.
Well, on brand, it's a 1. So our lovely little charismatic ranger, and I say that with a -1 to charisma, that's a 0. So with stealth that would be +7, so that would be an 8, but it's still a 1.
Well, it would be an 18 then, because of your +10 for Pass Without a Trace.
That's right.
So
still rolled a 1.
I would say that for the most part, you yourself kind of blend into the crowd. Mm-hmm. The crowd being your own rather eclectic group of people. This is a primarily human and halfling settlement from what you can see. You might see the occasional tiefling or dwarf, or maybe even a gnome here and there. But by and far, your party overall kind of stands out a little bit.
Sure.
You blend into your own party crowd enough that nobody's going to be directly watching you as you move your way through the town.
Sure. Perfect. Thank you.
What about the rest of you? Where would you like to... Is there anywhere anybody specifically wants to seek out?
Is there a blacksmith around?
Oh, blacksmith,
yeah. Give me a investigation check.
It's a power 7. I shout blacksmith.
I would say that as you're kind of looking around, you see that a lot of these buildings seem to be mostly homesteads. The town is arranged in a way that seems to sort of open up towards the riverbank, and sort of funnel you in to the town. And you do see that the street, the main thoroughfare you're on, you can just begin to see up the road a bit, with buildings on either side. You see that there are a number of brightly colored market stalls. There seems to be some sort of active market taking place in the town square, and you can just make out the permanent structure in that area appears to be some sort of tavern. A particular blacksmith shop you do not take notice of right away.
Well, Warren's gonna look over at Tira and say, well, we found the tavern at least.
Well, I could certainly go for a drink. That was a terrible Tira.
Yeah, that was not appealing at all.
Right? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to cure Vorn of his attraction to Tira.
Yeah, we're gonna work that right out.
Hashtag justice for Shotha.
Right? Bring
Wow.
Shotha back. Wow, it's your allergies picking up spring.
I woke up with a bit of a sore throat.
Yeah, say you did.
Carrie, save us!
I honestly thought I would do a better Tira than I did. I did a way better Kahlo last week.
You did a very good
That was
job.
like
I
if
was like,
Kane all of a sudden decided.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fitting. That's fitting.
That's fitting.
This week, the part of
Yeah.
Tira will be played by Kane.
Yeah, Vorn kind of like hears her voice and it kind of reminds him of Kane just a little bit, and he's like, okay, well, no big deal.
It's that trope they do in sitcoms and movies where you look over and you just can't see Tira, you just see Kane with like
Kane.
a long blonde wig wearing
Oh, no.
Tira's clothes. What's the problem, Vaughn?
Nothing, we're great.
Yeah. I do
Yeah.
think that as you are heading into the town and deciding exactly where you're going to go, this is probably the perfect time to take a break, since this is when we normally take a break. And if the timing is right, we might get Carrie to actually come back and play Tira.
to save you from yourself.
Save you.
So, thank you to everybody who has so far, who has subbed and gifted subs. We appreciate it so much. Please, by all means, continue. The subs help to support the channel, and the players get domain tomes from that. And stick around on the break. Check out our new break placards and promos for other shows, and we will see you in about 10 minutes or so.
Let's
Stick
go.
around.
Hey, how'd your team do?
And
Second place.
Ricky.
And we're back. Ricky always tries to slip in a conversation in that few seconds between when I say, "All right, let's go back," and when I hit the button.
Such is my life.
And we are joined by the real Tira, not that imposter that was here a moment ago.
Go! I heard there was a phenomenal impression of me right before the
Wait, why
break.
don't I see her in the box if she's not added?
Because I'm
Yeah,
not
you
in the
didn't
box.
add her.
I just realized because When you don't show up on time,
Yeah.
you get your camera
Listen
privileges
here, I
taken
put in
away.
for this absence a month ago, boss.
Like she just a disembodied voice now.
Look, it's
And
an
now I'm in the
excused.
box.
It's a reluctantly excused absence.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh yeah, no, Carrie, you can take off anytime you want.
I wouldn't dream of it, Gary. I enjoy spending time too much with you.
I mean, I don't blame you. I'm pretty great.
You are. You're phenomenal.
You're not wrong.
And I love you dearly as a friend.
Is there
All
such
right.
a thing as
All
a
right.
passive-aggressive work environment? That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm
This is it.
picking
This
up
is
on
it.
that
We
right
found
now.
it.
I'm feeling that with my whole body right now.
With that, yeah, you all are in. You are in Mirene. Vorn had just said to you, Tira, that, well, at least you know where the tavern is. There's many colorful market stalls, a lot of homesteads, a lot of fishing and activity on the river and at the approach. But you are in the thoroughfare now, and as you're all sort of looking around and figuring out where to go, Manistrad kind of reaches into a sort of a leather, almost like pamphlet bag that she has on as part of her gear, and she pulls out that this right here, this leather-bound tome, A Deep and Creeping Darkness, and kind of flips through and just says, well, according to the notes here in this book, there should be at least a couple of. There should actually be a couple people who were there way back when Vermilion was an active mining town. They could be here in the town still. At any case, there's got to be somebody here that knows a thing or two about what to expect on the route up, and possibly even at Vermilion. In my experience, I find that a tavern is a great place to wet your whistle, fill your belly, and listen.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh,
What?
Tira, it's you. It's almost like you've been missing half the day. I was looking for you. I wanted to ask you if my drawings helped in the relations with Vorn. I mean, I showed him drawings about where everything goes, and I wondered if it helped at all.
I look uncomfortably at Vorn and I
I told him
kinda
that's you.
smile and I'm like, Doc, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been here the whole day. I'm just not always a chatty Cathy. Sorry about it.
Oh,
And,
well, you went hunting, and then you weren't here, and then you weren't saying anything, and then you sounded weird, and then when I asked Vorn if he'd managed to get the relations happening, because Asaria was curious.
Yeah, Doc, and I kind of like put my hands on his chest, and I'm just like, and I kind of pat him, and I'm like, I'm sure the drawings will very much help.
Oh,
Vorn
will
more than
help.
me.
Will help. Oh, okay. Well, you answered 2 questions all at once. Thank you, Tira. That's very helpful. Should I draw some more? There's other things that it's
Thank you,
it's
Doc.
more than-
I'll be just fine. I'll be
I'm
sure to
gonna-
let you in on the schedule as well.
No, don't say that, Tira. He will legitimately ask you for a schedule. Don't.
I'm cursed. I'm cursed.
Doc, I would love to see all the pictures you can draw.
No,
Oh, and I smack
okay.
Vorn on the chest.
Okay.
I am sure you can find a bookshop with those. Don't do that. That's disgusting.
I think it's time to go get a drink. The Magistrate says the tavern's the place to be, and I couldn't agree more. Vorn, let's go. And I grab Vorn by the elbow and pull him towards the tavern.
I think your
Manistrad?
artwork is amazing as I get pulled away.
Manistrad, do you have any paper? I'm gonna
Oh
need
God, Doc, stop.
There's one in my satchel, a whole journal. As I get
Vaughn, I
it
swear
away.
to God, I know where you sleep.
Doc, make a perception check.
17.
I'm so happy to be here.
Doc, there is a halfling woman who looks like she's probably getting later on in the years, and she kind of looks very diminutive next to you, Doc. She sort of kind of tugs at your sleeve. Pardon me, sir.
Hello.
I couldn't help but overhear you talking to your friends. Are these drawings something you offer for sale?
No.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
No.
What kind of drawings in particular would you like? Would you like the educational kind of drawings? Or would you like the more exotic kind of drawings? It really depends on your preference because I need to know. Otherwise, I may give you the wrong thing.
A similarly elderly halfling man suddenly comes up next to her and says, pardon me, pardon my wife. She's a bit adventurous. Come along, Millie.
Millie?
We need no part of this.
You know, sir, if she's looking for drawings to help spice up things in the relations department, you should probably consider it because you never know. She's a very attractive little halfling and she may have a wandering eye, but my drawings might be able to help you bring her eye back to where it belongs, right on you.
You feel a light smack on your arm as Millie the halfling kind of smacks you and says, whatever gives you the impression that my eyes would wander from Hubert? I simply was looking for a reselling opportunity. But never mind, you've lost my interest. My eye will wander from you. Come along, Hubert.
Oh, I like Millie.
And
Millie
these
is my
two
new favorite
elderly
NPC.
halflings kind of take off, disappearing into the crowd. And you might notice as she looks back at you with a scowl, Doc, her hand slides down to Hubert's butt cheek.
Yeah.
Oh, back pocket. Nice.
Doc is going to he's going to scratch his head and he's going to say, reselling opportunity. I wonder.
What have I done?
Doc's drawings of
With that, you arrive at the tavern.
Wow, what a nice tavern.
You all find that you have approached the board weasel.
Oh, fancy.
This is a tavern and looks to also have a second story to it. It is also an inn. Entering into the board weasel, you see that this place is big enough that it looks like about 40 or 50 people could crowd into here comfortably. And maybe another 20 or 30 could crowd into here. You see a sign.
Kahlo's still bumping into a lot of people as he goes through something.
Clunk,
She
clunk,
takes up a lot of space.
You
He
see
doesn't
a
feel any of
sign
it.
that has a simple hand-lettered sign that says that you can rent a bath by the hour for 5 silver pieces. And you can tell that they are serving a variety of simple food dishes here. The crowd is relatively small right now. It's midday. There actually, as you all walk in, there is 5 other people 10 other people besides you all that are in this place. Two of whom are at the bar. One is a human woman looks to be in her 40s, and there is seated on a stool holding a single glass in his hand and a white towel and just sort of twirling, drying the inside, and then he slowly sets it off to the side and grabs another glass as the woman sets it up on the counter. He's just slowly drying as a very elderly black man named with a shock of very white hair. He's very tall and lanky, and kind of he seems to not so much sit on the stool as his arms and legs just sort of unfold from this place. And then there are a couple other humans and halflings, a half orc, and a gnome in here.
Wow.
So,
Quite the myriad.
yeah, Vorn definitely sees the bathing option. He's like, it has been a long minute. I smell bad even for an orc. And I'm going to see about renting a bath and getting some lilacs and lavender in there so I can smell like a flower orc. But that's whenever that
Tira
happens.
would smell and be like, I think I'm fine. And I would go over to the bar and order a drink.
Kahlo would come up to them after Vorn had asked for his and say, "What's the biggest bathing tub option you have available?"
Pool.
And yeah, take 2 of those. I definitely want one of those too. Yeah, that'd be great. I'll take the second largest one.
As the two of you walk up, the elderly man kind of looks. He does this thing where he sets down the glass and he kind of puts his long arms on the countertop, the bar top, turns in his stool, and he kind of looks at you, Horn, and then he looks past you at Kahlo, and kind of looks you up and down.
All 450 pounds of me. Plus all my shit, yeah.
Listen, we only got the one bathtub here, and as much as I'd like to say we could accommodate you, I'm afraid the tub's just not big enough for you.
Oh, discrimination.
I understand. Is there any way I could get like a bucket I could just dump over my head?
I'll see,
Awesome.
have to see what we can do to accommodate you. He kind of looks at all you. Are all y'all gonna be wanting baths? 'Cause we only got the one tub.
I think I'm fine, thank you. I would just really, 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 really love a drink.
I'm gonna
Well,
nudge Tira and say, earlier this morning you sounded like your brother. Just no need to smell like him.
Fine, I'll take a bath after him. And I would whap Vorn like right on the chest and be like, asshole.
At this point, Doc is going to walk in, and Doc is going to be in the non-creepiest way. Did Asaria go into the tavern as well?
It was a good start.
She's staying towards the back, but
in
yeah.
the non-creepiest, most awkward way,
Sure.
Doc is absolutely following Asaria as obviously as possible, just keeping an eye on her, making sure she's okay. And as he walks in the door, he's going to hear Tira say, "I'll take a bath after him." And he's going to say,
Are we just going to go down the line? Brooke, you're next. You have to be right.
he's going to say, he's going to say, am I not going to be interrupted this time? He's going to say, is like, I'm told that people who are doing relations with each other sometimes take baths together. So maybe you could save 5 silver pieces if you just hopped in the tub together.
Doc, I don't have any pictures for that.
Oh, I mean, I don't think there's anything. Doc is he's going to pull out his notebook and he's going to say, I don't think there's anything specific you need to do in that case. I think you just sort of scratch each other's back with a loofah sponge and then bubble up the bubbles
Doc,
Yes,
I
Kahlo?
think you're underestimating the power and appeal of instinct.
The power and appeal.
Also, the structural integrity of the tub.
I don't
Don't give
know
yourself-
where y'all come from. I don't know how they do things there. But this is not that kind of establishment. If you look out on the wooden sign hanging out front, it says the bored weasel, not the horny weasel. There will be one person in the bath at a time. Please. Now you...
Sarah looks like she is a tomato right now. She is just red.
Astrid, if you don't mind, this individual would like a bath. I could tend to these folks just fine. And Astrid, the bartender, looks at you, Vorn, and says, You can come with me. And kind of looks at you, Tira. We'll have a fresh bath for you when he is done.
I'll stay right here. I'm still owed that drink. Asaria, come sit with me. And I would pat the bar next to me.
Sure. And Asura will look over at Doc again, kind of just shake her head, still looking red as a tomato.
I know it's
Yeah.
only been a couple of days you've been asleep, but it feels like it's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I figure.
I definitely feel like I've missed a lot. Yeah.
How many of y'all will be looking for libations?
Me!
I'll take
Pass
one
it up
as
to the
well.
bath if you could, please.
Kahlo, you gonna drink anything?
Suppose I could.
What you
We'll
like?
set you up with a round of fermented apples.
That sounds pretty good.
It's a pretty straightforward name for a pretty straightforward drink here. A cider specialty here. And, he starts pulling several.
This place, it's just my speed.
Oh God, I love it!
Awesome.
He pulls several glasses for everybody. Now, I ain't been outside of Mirene in a bit of a while, but I still recognize travelers when I see them, and you all have a bit of a look about you that's not the common traders we see coming up and down the river. You and a couple of y'all have a look of, well, you have a look that says you crave a bit of excitement and adventure. And you,
No.
he looks at Kahlo, you and your friends, and kind of looks past you, Kahlo, indicating the dwarven sisters, Rack and Crack, that are sitting at one of the tables with 2 mugs of the cider between them and are eagerly drinking them up. Very clearly having set their pickaxes and stuff up on the table and their packs leaning against the side. Well, you all got the look of a mining expedition. Tell me I'm wrong.
Secret? Is it okay for us to admit it? I think it's
That's a
okay,
good question.
right?
Yeah, we need him to think it's a mining expedition because we're not really going up there to mine. We're going up there to investigate the haunting, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
So
yes,
if
but
he
like
thinks we're
I'm
mining,
here as part of a mining expedition.
Is that right?
So.
The survey crew is there to check out the validity of the mine to see if it's actually a good mine.
Oh, okay.
Part of that is to investigate the haunting.
Yeah.
You are there. The book club is there to escort
I'm there for
survey
mining.
Hey, GM, how long does the bath take? 5 to 10 minutes?
5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, dear God.
I mean, it takes as long as you want to take in it. You have it.
Yeah.
Your 5 silver gets you for the whole hour.
Oh,
You're
for the
just
whole
gonna-
hour. That's right.
Ricky, you're just gonna get in there and get out? Like that's not.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
a terrible strategy.
No,
That's
no,
the
no.
A lot of
worst.
contexts.
No, I'm trying to get like ales tint up and stuff. I'm wondering how long I can
Listen,
lounge for. That's all.
Listen, just picture Red Dead Redemption. You just keep pressing the button to keep
Can
the
I
bath
help
going.
you?
Okay.
Except, Astrid does not come in to assist you. You are
Damn
in
it.
there all by yourself.
Shit. Good.
Wow, that was a
Yeah.
weird. I
No,
felt like there was
Sorry,
both
someone in my
Kiri
throat.
and Tira were inhabiting that space.
I'm good.
Whoa, that was weird. Okay.
I don't mean to pry. I'm just noticing what I see. Sorry, I should introduce myself. My name is Lucas Gosvina. I am the owner and proprietor of the Board Weasel. Been as much for the last, 6, 7 decades?
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you for your hospitality. This is very good cider.
Well,
Needed.
You said you recognize that we look like a mining expedition. You are correct, sir. Is that something that you see coming through here sometimes?
well, truth be told, I ain't seen a whole lot in the way of mining expeditions. About every couple of years, somebody comes around this way with an eye on the platinum that's supposedly still deep within the veins of this mountain. But I ain't never seen nobody come back to establish any kind of real operation.
Any idea why?
Well, it's a bit of a story.
I like
Not one I'm much looking to tell too deeply. Suffice it to say, 70 years ago, I worked the mines up there. Yeah, that's right. You look at me and you don't think old Lucas was once a young man. But I was a long time ago. I could have taken both of them dwarves, pickaxe in each hand, and I could have outmined the two of them. The only one who was better in the mines than me was... He kind of starts to squint one eye, and he's kind of looking up off, just kind of off to the side, and he says, Lorna. Lorna was a damn fine miner. A hell of a woman. Huh. But yeah, so I recognize a miner when I see him.
Well, it's mighty fine to meet you, Mr. Lucas.
Is that your intention then? To head up to Vermeulen to see if you can make something of the old platinum mine up there?
That's the hope. We came a long way and on a rather nice but adventuresome river ride.
Yeah, imagine. And you're gonna have a little bit of a walk, maybe a bit of adventure too, if you're heading up into the old mining town.
Do you know the best path?
There's only one real path up to the mountains. Not many people tread that. Truth be told, I meant to put my own feet to that path off and on over the decades, but, well, age has a way of catching up to you, and these bones that were once young are now 95 years, and oh hell, I figure I got a good 1, 2, maybe 3 years left in me at most. My time to climb that mountain has long since passed. You know, I think I might be one of the last surviving people of a male in here in town. A bit of a history book of my own.
Well, I'd be interested in anything you could tell us. Or you said one of the last. Does that mean there's other people too?
Oh, Astra. She's usually around the market. Oh hell, she was just a child when the accident happened up there, and she came down with her aunt and uncle. Sorry, they came down with their aunt and their uncle when after the disaster and after the disappearances. Their parents were they were miners. They worked in the town, and well, after the disaster, people started to disappear. It just wasn't worth it to stay up there. We made our way down here to Marine, and well, that's where we've been for the last 70 years.
After all that time, you gotta have some theories about what happened to those people.
Listen, I've poured the last 70 years of hard work into this place here. It's all I got. There ain't no point in lingering too much on the past, but I left a piece of my heart up there when I left. Lorna was in the mine when the disaster happened. When the few that made it out of the mines came to the surface, Lorna wasn't amongst them.
I'm sorry.
Listen. And you see he kind of straightens up a bit, and he kind of wipes, just for a quick moment, he tries to discreetly wipe a tear from his eye. Listen, if you're going up there, you do me just a small favor. I'm not looking to send you off on some kind of adventure, some quest or anything like that. When we left, I stuck a necklace in the holler of the tree in the center of the village. It was Lorna's. I'd kind of like to take that with me when I pass on into the next world.
Well, we can sure find that for you.
And if it's not too much trouble, if you wouldn't mind placing some flowers on her gravestone, I'd appreciate that.
Now you gotta tell us what kind were her favorites.
Oh,
She liked wildflowers, all kinds and colors.
oh.
You ain't never seen nothing like her big beautiful eyes peeking out of a dirt-stained face with streaks of sweat coming down it, holding the bouquet of fresh-picked wildflowers. He kind of starts staring off wistfully again.
Kira is wrapped with attention, and you can tell because she has drank 0 of her ale, her cider rather. And she's just like, I look over kind of at Kahlo, and I'm like, yeah, I think we can manage that.
About that point, the door to the tavern opens up abruptly, and you hear a voice say, oh my, Lucas, you're not gonna believe what I seen come up from the river. I seen the whole band of adventurers and miners, and oh my dear lucky stars, if they ain't all sitting here right before you, already engaged in conversation with them, I believe you've beaten me to introductions. And you can, Kahlo and Tira, you in particular can see Lucas kind of sighs and rolls his eyes. Oh, here we go.
Amazing.
Why, hello, folks. It's
Yeah.
an absolute pleasure to welcome you to Mirene. I am something of a self-appointed welcome committee. My name is Astravorn.
Astravon.
You know, Lucas here was just telling us about you.
Oh, please, Lucas, always going on about me. If I was a few years older, you was a few years younger, you and I could have had a future together. Now, Astra done told you that's inappropriate. I know, I just can't help
Tira is
myself.
staring hard down into her cider.
Astra is
Kahlo is entertained. So.
Astra is about is half elven, and they have what looks like it was at one time brilliantly red, straight shoulder length hair, but it's faded a bit and streaked with gray. They have just these clear blue eyes, but they've sort of clouded a bit with age. They're you can see in their face and their demeanor, they are a genuinely projecting this friendly this friendly atmosphere, and that they are there's just a hint of a sadness behind those eyes, but they also wear an apron, and in the apron you see are a handful of gardening supplies, and they are holding a small bouquet of daisies
Oh.
as they walk up to all of you and say, well, I do apologize for not making myself introduced to you when I first saw you, but I had to make sure somebody was tending to my flower stall before I came in here, and I grabbed these up, and I just want to say again, welcome to Mirene. And they walk to each of you and hand you a yellow
my
flower.
God.
Kahlo loves this.
Tira is like holding hers like very awkwardly, and it's tiny and delicate, and she's just trying really hard, seemingly like not to destroy it. She's just being very careful.
Oh dear. Here, let me help you with that. And they
I don't know what to do.
they reach forward and they sort of, with both hands, they take your hand and take the flower. Here, I find these types of flowers once picked outside of the water and the ground, they are not going to last more than a couple days, but they will look lovely and complement your eyes beautifully. Try something like, may I? As they kind of find a where your cloak kind of comes over, and they kind of weave it into the buttonhole, and you now have where the clasp on your cloak is. They've sort of very deftly, you can see the knobby knuckles of aged hands. They look to be in their late 70s, as they carefully affix this. Oh, that looks absolutely lovely on you.
I bet Vorn will love that when he's back from his bath.
Vorn? Did you
It
say
is very-
Vaughn? That's my last name.
It's his first name, and it looks very pretty. Thank you.
Oh.
And I'm like still like almost Tira's like sitting almost like she's avoiding it. Like when something gets like stuck to a dog and they're like, you know.
Astra says, Lucas, be a dear and pour me a glass of red cherry wine. I would so like to hear from all of you. Please, tell me what brings you to our Marine.
Kahlo's gonna take her Daisy and like Boomer's gonna stick out of her pack. She's gonna stick it like in Boomer's shell, so it's like next to Boomer's face.
Oh my stars, if that is not the most adorable. If you don't mind, here. And they reach into their pouch of their apron and they pull what looks to be where they trimmed off some of the leaves and lower parts of where they picked the daisies.
For Boomer.
Perhaps your little turtle friend would like these greens.
I bet he'd love that.
And they
Never
hand
get
them
enough.
they hand them to you. In fact, here. And they pull a little bit of tulle and ribbon out of there and they kind of put a bunch of these greens in. And basically, if you've ever seen those little like those tulle wrapped things of potpourri, that's what it looks like. But it's all it's all flower cuttings.
Aww,
Here, please.
that's adorable.
And I will not
Thank
take
you.
any form of payment that is not hearing why you are here.
Well, we are a mining group. Well, I am. These are my escorts.
Oh my.
We're not escorts. Don't get the wrong idea. I mean, we're taking them.
I did
We're
not.
taking
My
Kahlo
mind did
and-
not even go there. But
Oh,
it's there
well,
now. Thank you for that.
Sorry.
Oh, don't worry. My mind strays where it wants when it wants. But no, I understood it to mean in the traditional escort sense of, well, you appear to be quite well suited to guarding a group of miners. So you are heading to Vermalen then?
I kind of look around nervously, like, kind of, should we be telling this woman our whole freaking
My
plan?
dear,
Yeah, someone better stop Kahlo. 'cause
my
Kahlo
dear,
is-
if your intention, if you are here as a mining operation, there's little else you could be going.
Yeah, we're gonna go up for Vermalen and check it out a little bit. You know, heard there was a big mine up there.
Well, now we have another mission. And Asteria is tucking the wildflower into where her kind of headband is. So it'll be right there on the right above her ear. And you can see probably everyone in the group has seen Asteria just shrinking more and more, not wanting to be kind of spotlighted into
I
this
would lean over and be
conversation.
like, "Why are you sitting like that?
Don't worry about it. That's fine.
Are you hurt?"
No,
Okay.
promise.
Saria,
Yes. Yes, Doc.
are you okay?
I'm fine.
You seem to be shrinking away from everyone, and it seems strange because that's not usually like you at all.
Thank you. Doc. Thank you.
You're welcome. You don't really need to thank me. I'm here for you. I just want to make sure that everything's okay. So I'm
Yes.
going to be.
Everything's fine, Doc. Thank you.
Everything is wonderful.
Mission
While this-
accomplished.
And she, like, from a moment looks annoyed over it, Doc, and then just kind of smiles.
And then as she's smiling, he's going to finish by saying, "And don't worry, I'll stare at you the whole time I'm awake, which is always.
Do not
So you'll be
need to-
fine."
You do not
Ask-
need to do that.
Astra takes their glass of cherry wine and kind of moves around through your group, and they have this way even in their later years. They have this way of sort of almost gliding, shifting around your group, and they come over on the opposite side of you, Assyria, where Doc is, and they just say, "My dear, I don't mean to intrude. I can understand. You look like you want to be left alone," as she kind of looks over at Doc. People are like flowers. Some grow best when left alone. Others must be carefully cultivated. And some need to be pruned back, lest they take over the garden.
Fuck off, Jordan. I've been sitting here going like, oh, this woman is a delight. And Jordan in the side chat has been like, I don't know if we should trust her. And I'm like,
Yeah,
God damn it.
every part of me is screaming no.
She's a delight.
I want to,
Listen.
but oh no.
I will afford you whatever anonymity or privacy that you're seeking. And they sort of glide away from you. Sort of when they said this, they maybe just gently clasped your hand for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
As they turn away from you, they look at your hand where you see there's another daisy for your wolf. And they turn to sit at a table.
Aw.
Thank you.
Away from you, leaving you alone. You know, I lived in Vermeulen once upon a time. It's been a very long time since I called Vermeulen home. I was but a child. I can scarce remember even what it was like there, but I do remember the disaster at the mine, hearing the adults talking in hushed whispers, and of course all of the other children, they had their own theories about what was happening, ghosts and spirits and such, particularly when the nightmare started and when people started disappearing.
Nightmares.
Oh, yes. Myself, some of the other children, some of the adults, though they were not quick to announce that, but my half-elven years, they pick up quite a bit. And you just hear as Lucas is wiping the bar top, just goes, They go, it seems quite a few people began to experience spectacular nightmares. Some people were seen to wander off into the shadows of the night. Sometimes 2 or 3 would go missing in the night. And shortly before we left, there were nearly 12 people in the entire town that were just gone without a trace. My mama and my papa were amongst them. But I came down with my aunt and my uncle, who I stayed with until their passing. And now I tend to my gardens and I sell flowers in the market.
Did your aunt bring you down here because of what was going on?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Everyone left. Nobody felt that it was safe to stay in Vermeulen anymore. What with the nightmares and the disappearances.
Did anybody ever go off and look for these people that just wandered off into the night?
Oh, yes.
Did they ever find anything?
We don't know. They never returned.
Ooh.
There were... I remember Mother and Father talking... They were talking with the mayor of the town. I don't remember what his name was, but they were talking with him, and they had hired some people from out of town to investigate the mine. And when they didn't return, we all left. The mayor and his family stayed behind. They were going to come at a later time, but the mayor never showed up in Marine.
Had anybody gone looking for them specifically?
Oh, well, I believe some people from Marine did when we came back, or came down here. I believe that they did go up looking. Isn't that right, Lucas? Yeah. Every once in a while, for the first couple of months, they would send folk up there. They even hired a group of, well, pardon me for the implication, but a group of mercenaries. Mercenaries probably not the right word. I think adventurers is adventurers. Kind of like yourselves. They hired to check out the place and never heard back from them. Now, there have been a couple of folks that have headed up into the mountains, and, well, they didn't even make it as far as Vermeulen before it turns out they weren't quite cut out for the journey, I guess.
Well, we are cut out for the journey. We'll make it, at the very least.
Doc is
I
going to
admire
look
your
around.
spunk.
Doc is going to look around and say to nobody in particular, so they're zombies, right?
Doc.
What?
Zombies was one of the prevailing theories for my friends and I when we were children.
Why do you say zombies?
Oh, well, that's a great question. Why wouldn't they be zombies?
Well, I would assume zombies would be normally seen, and these people disappeared.
Yeah, I feel like if it was zombies, Doc, then somebody would have reported seeing zombies. Nobody said that.
Wouldn't they come down from the mountain eventually when they had nothing to, I don't know.
See, that's
do
why my
whatever
theory.
Zombies do.
That's why my theory was not that it was zombies. I thought perhaps it was something of, I read in a book when I was a child about a dark vampire lord from a faraway magical realm called Barovia that liked to claim armies of souls. He would steal people from wherever they were in a creeping mist, and he was a sort of a vampire. So that was my
did
thought.
Did anybody see a mist up there?
Oh yes, the mist rose in on the mountains from time to time, though I guess it would be more accurate to call them clouds, for as high up as it is.
Now, when you said people were having nightmares, were they all about the same thing, or could people not remember?
Oh, people would wake up in a terrible fright. Sometimes we could hear them screaming, more than one person in a night, screaming with night terrors. Whatever it was that they were dreaming about, they would not speak of it. But I remember that I had at least a particular nightmare that would occur quite frequently.
What was that?
I would awaken to find myself wandering the streets of Vermeulen, calling out for my mother and my father. And every time I would turn to look for someone, I would just see them on the edges of my vision in the shadows, and when I would approach them, they would just vanish as if they were never there. I found myself alone, and nobody would answer my cries for help.
Oof. Tira looks uncomfortable.
Well, thank you for sharing that. This must all be a painful memory, even if it's been some time.
It's lost its sting over the years. Age will do that to you. It's been 70 years. Well, let me pass on a bit of advice to you. If you intend to go into Vermeulen, it is just into the month of Kythorn, my favorite month, for it is called the time of flowers.
Oh, that's nice.
Summer is just around the corner. And even though summer is just beginning to peek its sunny head out, I know that in the mountains, the air remains a bit cooler as you go higher up. It will be quite cold, particularly at night. You will want to make sure that you have warm clothing. You appear to have quite a bit of mining gear, if I do say so. But if you need anything, you can find all sorts of sundry items and supplies throughout the markets here. Many people don't maintain proper storefronts, but people like to have the open air market, and there are a variety of wonderful things that you can find there, including whatever you might need on your adventures.
Do you think they'd have something in my size?
I'll tell you, I know a delightful halfling woman who runs a bit of a... Well, if I may be frank, what she sells are quilts and blankets. But I think with a bit of alterations, one of those blankets could be turned into a lovely cloak that would fit your form.
I would love that.
They are all handmade, you know. I will put in a good word for you. Stop by the market stall with the halfling woman who sells. It's striped in red and white, and you'll see delightfully embroidered blankets and quilts. Tell her that Astra sent you.
I will. Thank you very much, Astra.
And please, all of you, if when you return, Lucas and I would love to hear stories of what you encountered up there, wouldn't we, Lucas? Mm-hmm. As he continues wiping the bar.
Our friend Mizia is quite the chronicler of sorts. Oi, Mizia, can you write down our journey?
Over in the corner of the bar, you see Mizia is talking to Astrid, the human bartender who had come back. And Mizia is sort of leaning up on the bar, going, no, a bit more orange juice. No, I mean a bit less orange juice and a little bit more champagne. It's called a mimosa. Oh, sorry, what was that, Tira?
I said that our friend is Mizia. You're a chronicler. You could chronicle our journeys.
Yes. I will, of course, do that.
And Tira just sort of seems like lost in her thoughts. She's still sort of like thinking about this dream and Astra and like losing parents and feeling alone, and just kind of the whole thing is just sort of, she's just sort of staring down into her drink.
Astra, after a bit, finishes their cherry wine and kind of looks at all of you and says, I will be back in a very short bit. Please don't leave before I return. And
we aren't going anywhere.
they hand their empty wine glass to Lucas and immediately head out the door, leaving you all to whatever conversations in the
What
wake.
a nice couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
I could get a 19 insight check on
Nice!
Tira.
Yes, Kahlo.
Insight
see
checking
that.
Astra?
No, Tira.
Yeah.
Oh, Tira.
Oh,
see that she looks really down.
Oh wait, you
yeah,
weren't. Yeah,
Callow's not
Sorry.
suspicious of any of these people. She's taking them all at face
I was gonna say
value.
you're
So
not
if
the
you
one that
want-
was suspicious of
if you
Astra.
want
it's
anyone-
literally a Saria.
You gotta say
Yeah.
all that because Callow's just like
Callow's
"Whatever,
just delighted.
everything's great.
Wow, this is awesome.
Nothing suspicious here. But I do notice that Tira is like staring into her drink, looking a little glum after that conversation. So I would kind of take a sip of my own drink and say, "What's on your mind?"
Nothing. Just Astra talking about her dreams, and it's just it makes me sad. She lost her family, and it happens to a lot of us, and dredges up all the shit. You know how it is.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I suppose I don't really know any of you very well yet.
Well,
It's
to
all
be
right.
fair, you didn't really get the chance to get to know us on the boat since we had other things happening.
It's true. You were a werewolf.
Oh,
most
dum
of the
dum
time.
dum.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
I-
it was a lot going on.
Got very seasick. Yes, you are
Yeah.
100% correct.
Yeah.
100%.
Doc is
But,
gonna look at Kahlo and he's gonna say, "Well, she's not wrong."
Dog. I'm gonna go see Vaughn for a little bit. And I just get up, and grab my drink off the bar, and go to. Did I see Astrid show Vaughn into another room?
Yeah, there's like a back hallway, and
I go and I burst into that room and I shut my eyes. I'm like, I'm not looking at you. I just needed to get out of there.
Before you go, you literally hear
sorry.
Asteria say, "Really, Tira? You leaving me with this?"
Have fun. Have a good talk. And I go and I burst into the room, eyes closed,
So
and be like,
much
I'm
for
not looking at you.
friendship.
Love you. And then I go and I'm just sitting. I'm like, is there a
Actions.
chair? Is there a chair?
yeah, there's a
And
chair.
then, as
I'm asking Vorn because I'm not looking.
Sorry, Doc, you want to sit through real quick? And then
No,
I'll
I was
slide
just I mean, Asaria is shouting at Tira, and then Vorn is going, or sorry, Doc is going to say to Kahlo and Asaria, she was really excited to get out of here. Maybe she wanted to share a bath after all.
in.
See, and she didn't even need any illustration.
Oh
Oh my
God.
god, I'm being so respectful.
Spectacular.
Sarah,
Kahlo.
I am so sorry.
Kahlo, to be fair, I've already provided Vorn
Provided?
all the
What
illustrations.
I
All the
provide.
illustrations that he's gonna
Consider
need.
yourself.
I suppose I'm never gonna understand some of these habits of other types of folks. We just we don't get on that way.
And just lay eggs in the ocean.
Oh,
right?
they definitely do.
Clearly.
Can we please
do-
talk about like anything, like the weather, like anything else but
Oh.
this?
You
Well,
don't
what
want to.
Do not want to have to envision what you are trying to describe. So please,
Are you
let's
sure?
not. Yes.
So
Sure, shut up.
Vorn,
So meanwhile,
there.
in the
so, in the tub.
in the
So-
steamy bathhouse,
Yeah, at
the,
one point.
the bath, by the way, is essentially it's basically like in a screened-in porch kind of a thing
Yeah.
on the
Nice.
back.
Oh, good.
Sure.
And the screens are set up in is sort of like a lattice work, not like screens, but it's like a lattice work of that lets light in, but there's privacy, but it also lets the steam go out. The walls are done in cedar, and it's a nice little place.
Is it a one? It is a one-person bath, right?
It's a decent sized, like, it almost looks out of place. It's a pretty nice looking clawfoot tub that kind of swoops up in the back, and
Oh, nice.
it doesn't have any kind of plumbing to it, and there's buckets
So
where
legit,
hot
like
water.
Red Dead Redemption tub.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean,
So I'm
it's
not,
a one-person
I'm-
tub, but 2 people could fit in there depending on their size.
I have no interest in that. And
Okay.
instead, what I'm doing is just sort of like lattice work that goes like outside is outside. Like
Yeah.
it's like a screened-in porch.
Yeah,
so
basically.
it's-
I mean, the lattice work
Thick.
is enough that you could look through the gaps. They're probably like this. You
Yeah.
know, nobody's like, it faces the back of the building. So it's not like people are walking by peeking in at anything.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just looking at nature through the lattice, and I'm talking to Vorn.
At the point that Tyr comes in, Vorn is already dressed in trousers and like a cut off tank top, but showing his midriff and his no sleeves.
Sick. Does he have a 6-pack?
Yeah, he's got all the packs. And he's standing up and he says, Tira, it's okay.
Yeah. Oh,
The water
okay.
has been changed out and it's ready for you. Why don't you relax? And I know Doc is the relations, and listen, not my expectation, right?
Mhm.
And but I think you owe yourself some time to relax and reflect. It's comforting. And so what Vorn doesn't tell her, though, is that the reason why he's already dressed and cleaned and the water's changed out is because a half an hour into the bath, Vorn was relaxing and the scent of lilacs and lavender, and with the warm water steaming, and when he opened his eyes, he found himself in a river of blood that was steaming hot and red
Okay.
and soaking.
Couldn't do it.
And looking around, blinked twice and focused, and the roll returned back to him, back into the tub. Though he did cut his bath time short because of the visions of sitting in like a big bucket of blood. And
Yeah.
while he was in the bucket of blood, he heard whispers of strange voice. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh shit.
I have claim. I will own you.
Oh my god.
Those are what you heard.
Goodness gracious. Yep.
Wow.
And that's why he cut his bath short.
Well,
And had the
damn.
water
Okay.
swapped out.
I'm glad
Um,
I didn't get a bath.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's well, Harry is having second thoughts about this bath.
I didn't miss
but
anything.
Tira,
It was fine.
Not everybody has like curses upon their tribe and stuff. So yeah.
Tira would kind of smile, sort of like coyly. She doesn't see any of this freaking tortured soul.
Of course.
And she just sort of like smiles at Vorn and just like kind of like tells him to turn around.
Vorn does turn around and yeah.
And the audience would see like she would like essentially grab here and like pull and just like clothes start to fall to the ground like one piece at a time. And she would once all of it is off and you see the little daisy fall like almost right on top of it cinematically. And then I didn't hear what you say, dude.
I said, does he peek?
Oh,
no,
and
Vorn's-
so I would be slipping into the tub. I probably wouldn't notice whether or not he peeks.
Yeah, well, once inside the tub and completely submerged underneath the bubbles or whatever, Vorn would say, is it okay if I tell you a story?
And Tira would kind of like lean her head back on the back of the tub and just smile.
Yeah.
Looking for the first time maybe Vorn has ever seen, completely content.
Yeah.
And would just say, please do.
And Vorn's gonna come up to the back of the tub where, like, facing if she's facing one direction, Vorn is facing the same direction, so he's behind. And gently goes, let me tell you about the time that I was a mercenary in the Black Shields.
Mhm.
And like gently pours some oil over her neck and then
Oh, that feels. Oh my god. Yep.
Kill it there.
Phenomenal.
I think as the Vorn starts to tell you this tale, we hear these sort of the muffled sound of Vorn's voice coming from this bathhouse, and
The camera pulls.
the camera
back through
pulls
the
back
lattice.
through the door, through the hallway, into the bar area where the others are talking, and Lucas is pouring drinks, and a couple of locals are coming in to get drinks, and as somebody walks in the door, the camera pulls back out, and we see Astra is from their stall, has gathered up a big bouquet of brilliantly colored wildflowers, and is carefully, putting a couple more in as they take it and they move sort of past the camera towards the tavern. Continues to pan along through the crowd of people in the town, down to the docks, across the water where people are throwing nets and poles, fishing in the water, to the far bank, in through the tall grasses, where the camera slowly comes to a stop. And a figure steps out from behind a tree, and we can just see a silhouette of a humanoid person peering out, watching over the town of Mirene, where you all are. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh god! Wow! Wow!
This has been our 45th consecutive session, our 50th total with all of our one-on-one episodes, and our 1 year anniversary.
Hey!
And my fifth. This was my fifth.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, Brooke, remember when I
I
said
missed last
remember
week.
when I said, "Hey, are you good for like 3 to 6 episodes?" And I think what I meant to say was 36.
It's okay. I know how D&D is.
Right. This group does not travel in a straight line. They play D&D like I play Elden Ring. They're like, let's go every which way but straight ahead towards the goal, and I love it. I absolutely love playing with all of you. I can't believe it's been a year.
So glad I made it. Oh my god. Brooke, I'm glad you're here for the 50th, bro.
Hey,
Brooke got me started in RPGs, by the way, and thank you. This is
Very cool.
very full
It
circle
did.
for me.
It's all my fault.
When was that?
Wow, awesome.
when was that? Ricky asked.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear.
It's okay.
5
So
years
the
ago,
Brooklyn-
because it was my first year at Greenville.
It was
And I
5 years ago.
Yeah, because I just got tenure, so it's 5 years. Yeah,
What?
we've been playing
Wow.
Council of Thieves for like 5 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Just wait till you get to 40 and you're like, oh my god, we've been playing board games
Well,
for 12 years together.
Because Garrison was in the game and he was there my first year.
Well,
so
there's
it's
also
5
this
years.
weird.
Oh boy.
There's this
Yeah.
weird like gray zone of time that lasted roughly 2 years, where
Right.
time
Yeah,
kind
I
of
have lost
was
And like
amorphous.
Dice Tales
and-
is like 3 or 4 years old, isn't it? So
Indeedy.
I mean,
Wow. Phenomenal.
it's been 3 years since Kiri took
Yeah,
a
it's
creepy
been.
picture of me from the hallway of a convention center.
Indeed. It wasn't that creepy. I couldn't come in.
You
And I
could
couldn't yell
have,
at
though.
you.
It
You
was
were
a
in the
public
middle of
space.
stuff.
I mean, I respect that you didn't want to interrupt a game that was in progress,
Of course.
which turned out to be my first ever TPK. So,
Ooh. Okay.
anyway, thank you, everybody who tuned in tonight. Thank you to everybody who gifted subs or subbed or cheered or any of that stuff, adding to the growing pool of domain tomes. Just a quick reminder.
sounds like we'll need them. So.
Yeah. Just a quick reminder, I am going to be appearing on Ardent Roleplay tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. with our Australian friends supporting Jasper's Game Day. I was invited to participate by D20, who I believe is in chat. D20
Yes, he
is a
D20.
close personal friend and non-adversarial personality to Gary.
I think how many arch nemeses do you have, Gary?
All of them.
I must know.
I don't have any arch nemesis. I think people think they're my arch nemesis, but I don't think much of them like D20.
Ooh,
See,
Brutal.
Wow.
So
dude, you are not my
and
nemesis.
It's his love language.
speaking of ardent roleplay, we are going to raid them in just a couple of moments because they are actively running one of the games right now, I believe. Because if I'm not mistaken, it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. I think they're just getting started over there.
I believe so.
I don't know where they are over there, but yeah, we're gonna send you all over there. Tell them MTD sent you. Yeah, thank you again to everybody who supported. If you're somebody that likes to watch and lurk silently in the chat, we appreciate you all the same and hope you enjoy the show. And thank you again to just all of these amazing players. It's been a year. It's been lovely having you guest with us for an extended arc, Brooke. But thank you to Gary, Brooke, Jordan, Carrie, Ricky, and even though he's not here, he's here with us in spirit, Dwight,
It's true.
without
Yes,
whom
Dwight.
it would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. Stick around for the raid over to Ardent Roleplay. We're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Metadata.
Dang.